Welcome to another episode of Unleashing You. In today's conversation, I speak with Jennifer Richardson. Jen is the founder and CEO of Richardson Media. She has an extensive background in journalism and has had quite a career journey, ranging from television news anchor to public relations to marketing. In 2020, Jen took a giant and terrifying leap to go out on her own and start her own company. Today, she talks to us about doing things that scare us, the importance of a great support system, and finding a career that truly aligns with who you are. Jen has such a passion for giving back to her community. You can often find her volunteering for causes that are close to her heart. Jen is a wife, a mom, and a badass CEO. So I'm so excited for you to hear our real and vulnerable conversation. Let's dive in. Before we begin, I want to make sure that you have the Unleashing You retreat on your radar, because just the fact that you're tuning into this podcast means the Unleashing You retreat is right up your alley. The reason I created the Unleashing You retreat is because as women, we tend to look to everyone else for the answers. We somehow think that everyone else knows better than we do, when in reality, tapping into your own intuition is actually the key to living a happy and fulfilled life. And that's how I've created the career and life I have now, and what we'll teach you how to do during this retreat. An inner shift like this will leave you with tools that you'll use for the rest of your life. This retreat is so much more than a girls' trip. This is a transformation. If I've piqued your interest, I want to personally invite you to join us in Steamboat Springs, Colorado on September 19th through the 22nd. During our time together, we will go through coaching workshops and other deep personal development activities that will uncover aspects of yourself you never even knew. Work like this would take months or years to do on your own, and we're going to get you there in just a few short days. Not to mention, we'll be staying in a gorgeous mountain home, complete with a private chef, so you don't have to lift a finger. If you are ready for a pampering getaway where you can recharge your batteries and feed your soul, send me a message on Instagram or visit acrprofessionalcoaching.com to learn more and reserve your spot. Spots are very limited, so do not wait. And I'll see you in the mountains. Now, let's get on to today's show. Welcome to Unleashing You. This podcast is your permission slip to create success your way. I'm your host, Amanda Riffey, a certified success coach and female business leader who has climbed her way up the corporate ladder. I've been through burnout and back and found the tools to bring fun and enjoyment to my career while creating powerful results and leading in a way that feels authentic to me. This show brings you conversations with women just like you who have created massive success for themselves and are doing it in their own way. We'll hear about their personal journeys of growing their career while still prioritizing the things they love most. If you are ready to be challenged and encouraged to reach your next level, then buckle up, sister, because the road to dreamy success begins here. Let's dive in. Jen, thank you so much for being on Unleashing You. I am so excited to share your story today.
I am so excited to be here. Wonderful idea. We all need to be unleashed.
Yes. Ooh, yes. I love it already. So why don't we start with your career? You have had such an exciting career already. And I know that you are just getting started. So can you share an overview of your career journey with us?
Yeah, so I got my degree in broadcasting from the University of Southern California, go Trojans, in LA. And I studied at the Annenberg School of Communications. So came out of there with a wonderful education in ethical journalism. And so I became a journalist, and I worked all over the Midwest, worked in Arizona for a while, spent a lot of time in Missouri, where I met you.
Yes.
And I also met my husband there, who is and was a news anchor as well. We actually worked for competing stations, so we had to keep it hidden for a bit. And it was amazing. We were competitive, but loved doing what we did. It was a hard job. We covered tornadoes, we covered murders, we covered shootings, you name it. So it was a hard part of my journey to be a journalist, but it's my passion. It will always be my passion. I love telling stories, making a difference, and being the truth seekers, which is what I think we need more of too. So yeah, I was a broadcast journalist for about 15 years. And then we moved out to Eugene, Oregon. I worked for the news there. And then I started a family. We started a family, the other news anchor, Brian Richardson. And things changed, and it got harder and harder to go to breaking news and be on call. I was waking up at 2 a.m. To do the morning show. I was pregnant. I was throwing up in between commercial breaks, annoying my co-anchor as I was super pregnant. And I just started to see a transition in myself around family and what I wanted. But it pulled at me so hard. I had to go through a lot of therapy to decide if I wanted to leave the news. And it just felt right at the time to prioritize my kiddos. They're 9 and 7 now, but I need to do that. So I went into the marketing world and kind of saw what I loved, what I didn't. And then the global pandemic hit, and mothers, fathers were struggling to find care and to find what was best for their families. And I just found myself at a crossroads of wanting to be there for them. But the pandemic pushed me. I mean, there was no choice. I loved the different places I was working, but I needed that stability. So I said, why don't I just go out on my own? Okay. No plan, no business background. I'm completely honest about that. I just wanted to take a leap. And I believe if you are confident in your skills and you believe in them, you can. Is it hard? Absolutely. Every single day it is hard. But yeah, I opened up Richardson Media in 2020, and it's been 3 years. So
Yes.
that's a long, crazy journey, but that's what got me here.
No, that's so good and just so relatable to us moms who have, had our career maybe before family and kids. And, we change as people after becoming a mom. So, thank you for sharing that and just, what that evolution looked like for you. And that's one of the things I love so much about your story is how you really did listen to, hey, what was working maybe isn't working now, and what am I really being pulled to do next? And so you mentioned obviously your company that you have now that is really successful, and I'm sure that business has been just like a dream of yours for quite some time. And, can you talk to us about how that dream started? Even when it was just that tiny seed of an idea, like maybe a little thought in the back of your head, and how that grew into something that you knew you needed to take action on.
It's funny because it wasn't a big part of my thinking, to be honest. I didn't go around saying, "Oh, I want to be a business owner. I want to be a media mogul, as I joke. But it something started pulling at me, and I was telling other people's stories. I was working for other companies. I wanted to make my own story. I wanted to make the stories that I know that mattered. And so the only way to do that was to go out on my own and create what I wanted to create. I love being able to work with the people I want to work with, and that I believe in have good missions too. I'm really big on choosing companies that have ethical beliefs, and that's important to me because I believe that we should all be making a difference that way. But to be honest, it wasn't part of that. But then once I got the bug, I was like, oh, I mean, the fun part is I get to make my own hours. I can work till midnight sometimes and maybe sleep in. Not really, because I have kids. But, just kind of creating all of that myself. It's scary every single day. I mean, there isn't a day where I'm not questioning things or wondering if I'm doing this right. We joke about, imposter syndrome, what am I doing today that is different? And a crazy funny story that I wanted to share, this weekend, I was asked to film the Prefontaine Classic, which is the big Diamond League event at Hayward Field. We're in Eugene, Oregon, and do sports photography and sports video. And honestly, I haven't done a lot of that. And I was nervous and I questioned myself. And we were sitting around the dinner table, and I said to my 9-year-old, I said, I'm nervous, Haley. What should I do? And she did not skip a beat. She goes, just like Nike, just do it, Mom. And I'm not getting paid by them. But I loved it. And it was so right on because it's been in my head. She is in my head ever since last Thursday about this. Just do it. And I know it's just like so small, but having that thought of why not? Why not just take the chance? Why not just open my business? Okay, just do it. And you can fail and you can make mistakes and you learn. And I'm doing that every day.
Oh, that's so good. Haley is so smart. So smart. Isn't it crazy how sometimes our kids just have that most genuine point of view because they haven't had all of the, societal pressure and all of the pressure that we put on ourselves. Like, they're like, just do it. Yeah, it's scary, but like, you can do it. Just go do it. Oh, that's so good. That's so good. And that should be all of our mottos. So yeah, good job, Nike.
I know. And it was sports. It was just so fitting, but she did not skip a beat. And that you're right. It was just, she was not in her head. So we get in our heads. I always get in my head, I can't do this. I'm not worth where I'm at, or, people will say, you've accomplished so much, you've done it. I get in my head all the time. But then, maybe I'll take a moment and look at my portfolio or look at the stories or rewatch a story. I serve on the board of directors for the Boys and Girls Club of Emerald Valley here in Eugene. And I truly believe in giving back. And that is one of the organizations that I do a lot of pro bono work for. So finding that really fulfills me on top of other, because it's not just, we want to make money, we want to have business, but my goodness, if we're not changing the narrative and making things better, that's what's important. And so I do kind of sit back and watch those, or have to be reminded of that because I get in my head a lot.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So a couple things in what you just said. I think number one, just that tip of when we are in our heads, of being able to go back, when I work with coaching clients, one of the things that I have a lot of my clients do when they're working towards a really big goal is create a win journal. And so it's like, hey, here's where I started. Here's my big dreamy goal. And then list out every single thing as it happens, big or small. in between. So then when you are having those discouraging days of like, oh, this is taking too long, or I don't have what it takes, or whatever it is, you go back to that and you see that huge long list of all of the things that you did, even when it was scary. You're like, yeah, okay, I can do this too. I hope you're enjoying today's episode. I wanted to interrupt for a brief moment to invite you to create success your own way. I am currently enrolling in one-on-one private coaching opportunities. This is for you if you are ready to go all in and see big results. With 4 months of focused time just for you, you will skyrocket your growth and success beyond your wildest dreams. No more dreading Mondays. We'll make every day feel like Friday. Ready for a promotion? Let's do it. Want to start your business? I'm game. Need to find balance between your career and your family? I promise you it can be done. Are you longing to level up your leadership? Well, then let's bring out that badass CEO. Together, we will transform your career and your life into something you are really proud of. Get ready to get back in the driver's seat and create the success of your dreams. And did I mention we will have so much fun along the way? Send me a message on Instagram or head to acrprofessionalcoaching.com to learn more. I'll also put the details in the show notes for you. Your road to dreamy success begins here. Now, back to the episode. The other thing that you mentioned was around, just some of those beliefs that come up for you. And so first of all, I want to say thank you for sharing that because number one, I don't know that it's talked about enough. And, if we were the outsider looking in, we could easily be like, well, Jen's got it all together. Jen's doing this, Jen's doing that, like all of these things. She has a great, successful business. She's got, the family, the kids, all of this stuff. So I think it's so important to hear that no matter where we are, no matter what it looks like from the outside, we all have similar things that come up. So can you share a little bit more around just what are some of those beliefs that can creep in when you least expect it and really how you overcome those?
Yeah. I mean, when you think of the title of a CEO or president, all of us have a picture of what that might be. And then when I see that that's my title, I kind of say, well, I don't deserve that, or I am not that, but I am, and I've earned that. But that is definitely one that do I deserve to be here? Have I worked hard enough? Can I do it all? Should I take on this project that is a little outside of my realm, but hey, I can learn it, but is there someone better for it? All of those things. And I am a confident person, and those all creep in. I am an extrovert, but I think that's part of it is I am an extrovert. I put it all on social media, but there is a very vulnerable side, and we're human. And I think just going back to, my news background, I've covered a lot of different things. I've seen so many different people struggling with different things. And then I see my success. And, I just want to make sure that I'm honoring all the stories that I've been telling and living the right path. So I do have to ground myself and remind myself that, you're doing a great job. You're paving the way for yourself, but it is really hard. I will say the biggest thing that has helped me is my support network. My husband is awesome. He pumps me up. I had a press conference yesterday immediately after he had gone to it because we work in the same worlds. He's there a lot. He just texted me and said, that was awesome. You had all the elements that it needed. And I needed to hear that. I needed to hear those words of affirmation. And he provides that. So a great partner, my kids, as you just heard. And then I have a really fierce group of women who are CEOs too. And we have a text thread. And over the weekend, I said, I'm one of a few women photographers here. And they're like, girl power, women power, like stuff like that just pumps you up. But also that I can call and say, I'm struggling with this. What would you do in business? And I have those best friends that are so smart and so strong. And when I'm feeling that I'm not okay to do it, they're like, Jen, get out there. You can do this. You absolutely can do this. So I think surrounding yourself with those people that will build you up and that you build up too. I mean, we all need it. Who doesn't need to be told that rocked and you rocked? Because it's hard out there. It's hard. COVID was hard. I mean, we're struggling as a parent. I can barely figure out the schedule. I looked at my calendar. It's a bunch of scratches of soccer and plays and business. So I think having that to build you up when you feel down. I've definitely texted those days of, what am I doing? How do I get through this? And I had something recently happen, and one of my friends just said, cry for a day and then put on those red heels and get back out there. And I loved that.
Oh, that's so good. And oh my gosh, I'm so glad that you brought up your support system because, you do have such an amazing partner in Brian, and I know you have amazing kids. One thing though that I think everyone especially can create for themselves and that, maybe haven't before is that support system of women who are truly, truly there to see you succeed. And I value my support system just like that. Because again, when you think about even just growing up in the society that we grow up in, it is very easy to feel competitive sometimes with women or compare ourselves to someone else's success of, that twinge of jealousy when really it's like, oh, it's because I want to be doing that same thing. And to me, when we really have, number one, those just real intentional, relationships with other women, but also when we feel confident in our own success and happy in where we are, that comparison just flies away because it's not needed. You just don't need it. And so I love that you have that group of women that support you. And I would say for anyone listening, go and find that for yourselves as well, because man, that is just such a game changer on those hard days. No matter what you're doing, you're like, you just need those people to reassure you of the things that you do know to be true, but sometimes we forget.
When I decided to open the business, I did text people who I'd been working with before, men and women. And they were the ones who I was just going to freelance and do small things. And they were like, Jen, you're not small. You got to go big. They were the ones who jumped in and helped me create a logo and create a website. And they believed in me. And that's what really got me here. Had those months when I was questioning what I was going to do and those people didn't jump in, I probably wouldn't be here. So I'm so grateful for those people. And that has taught me to be those people for others when I see them struggling like that, because we all have those insecurities and we can't do it alone.
Yeah. Oh, yes. So true. And, having those mentors, those colleagues, those connections is just so critical. And I agree with you. I think, both men and women have such an ability to connect with each other on a level and support each other's dreams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. I love that. So before we wrap up, what would be just one piece of advice you would love to leave with someone who's maybe listening to this and really resonating with your story, whether they have, that dream of their heart of starting their own business or just doing something that terrifies them? What would be kind of your one piece of advice you'd love to leave them with?
I think you just made me emotional thinking about it because it's just, sorry.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting goosebumps right now.
just take the leap. Like, what is it all about if you aren't taking chances and believing in yourself? And it's hard, and it's, you just gotta do it. Like, I go back to it, like, why not? And, maybe 5 years from now, I'll do something else. Who knows? But go for the journey and go for what makes you happy, and be around the people you love. I mean, just kind of create the journey and the story. And I go back to that, create the story that you want. I'm so proud when my daughter's like, I'm going to do Rich Media. We call it Rich Media a lot. Rich Media. She's like editing videos, inspiring, just, I love that. But for me, just making a difference throughout all of it's really important. I do a lot of videos for nonprofits, making change, helping them raise money. I mean, I'm not just doing, advertisement videos. I'm doing things that raise more than $100,000 for the nonprofits that I'm helping. I mean, that's the stuff that I wanted to do. And circling back to why I got into journalism, to do the impactful storytelling. So I may not be a news anchor anymore, but I'm doing all the things that I truly believed in, and I'm just creating it differently now. It's exactly the same storytelling. It just looks different, and it's more of what works for my family. And look at what works for you. You want to be happy. We're only here for so long, and that journey is yours to create.
Yeah. What a fantastic journaling prompt of just sitting down. I mean, like, what do I want my story to be? That's something that we don't always take the time to just really reflect on for ourselves. And then how are my actions lining up with that story? So I think that's so beautiful. Thank you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah. So before we wrap, where can our listeners find you if they would like to connect following this conversation?
You can see all my crazy journeys on Richardson Media. I post a lot of what we're doing day to day on Instagram and Facebook. I also have my personal Jennifer Richardson pages, and that's more of my crazy family life, our little puppy, Brian. You can see Brian. He doesn't love social media, but he shows up every once in a while. And then I'm on LinkedIn too, and a website, richardsonmediarelations.com. And all of that.
Yes.
I know you'll probably post all the links.
You know it. Yeah. I will link everything in the show notes for you too. So it'll be really easy to go and click into.
And I would love to follow other journeys as well. So if you friend me, I will friend you back. And I love seeing and empowering other women, men, whatever, following their journeys too, because I don't look at anyone as competition. I look at them as collaboration, and get ideas and grow from there. I'm constantly looking at all different accounts and saying, oh, that looks cool. I want to do that. So yeah, come find me.
Yes. Oh, perfect. Jen, thank you so much for joining us today, for sharing the vulnerable stuff, the real stuff, all of the things. I just appreciate you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. If you would like to continue the conversation, connect with me on Instagram and say hello. You can find me at AmandaRiffy_coaching. In the meantime, if you know you are ready to say yes to yourself and find an incredible support system of other female business leaders just like you, then visit my website at acrprofessionalcoaching.com or send me a DM on Instagram to find out more about the Leadership Legacy Circle enrolling now. This program is a 2-month exclusive and transformative group coaching and learning experience that will allow you to feel so aligned in leadership while creating fantastic results at both work and at home. Don't wait. The next group is beginning soon. Chat with you again later.